Morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Flight. So this is a kind of podcast I was doing a while back, but I kind of dropped it for a while, mostly work reasons. I'd like to pick it up again. So we're just going to start once again with episode 1. I made several episodes. I think I made maybe like 15 or 20 episodes a while back, but they didn't get a lot of attention, so I just went ahead and deleted them. But I think I'd like to pick it up again, and we'll see how well it does this time. So, Morning Coffee with Flight is basically just a little short podcast where I just talk about whatever has been catching my attention recently. If I'm making the episodes on a daily basis, I'll just talk about what's on a daily basis, but maybe I'll post them, every other day or maybe once a week if time is away from me. And in that case, I'll just, talk about whatever is really catching my attention at the time I record the episode. So it's very informal, right? So it's just something I start recording right in the morning when I'm having my coffee, and where I talk about what's interesting me. So usually the kind of things I like to talk about on this podcast is things like video games, books, YouTube channels I'm watching, and things like that. So if you like to hear like thoughts on kind of like random stuff like that, and maybe kind of like mini reviews on what I'm thinking about those kind of stuff, you might enjoy this podcast. In that vein, I think I'll announce another kind of podcast that I want to start doing, which is I want to do a review of John Vervaki's work called Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. So he posted all this stuff about 4 years ago or so, and I went through it back then. I think maybe not as it's coming out, but close to either like 4, maybe 3 years ago. And it's pretty long. It's like 50 episodes, and they're pretty meaty. But I like to go through them again, years later and see how I feel about it. So in that format, I think what I want to do is just listen to the episode, write down kind of like bullet points of what I think about it, and then start recording and talking about like what I'm thinking episode by episode, right? So the kind of like standard YouTube thing to do is to let like maybe a minute or three of the episode play, and then cut it and like go to me like commenting on it, and then let another minute or three play of something else I want to comment on. But I don't think I want to do that. I think what I want to do is listen to the whole episode, take bullet points of what I'm thinking about, and kind of review that episode, and then post my thoughts online, right? So it's much more of a podcast form, my commentary on it, rather than video splicing and that kind of like the standard way that YouTube likes to do things. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. So if that sounds interesting to you, that might be something you want to check out. I'll post that stuff on this channel as well. I have another channel that I'm doing a kind of side project where I'm just kind of like articulating thoughts I've been having for a long time, just about kind of it's kind of in the same area as John Vervaeke, because John Vervaeke's thing is all about relevance realization, and I've been having kind of my own thoughts on that subject for a long time. So I have another channel called Hosting. Well, I have another channel that talks about a phenomenon I call hosting, right? And it's kind of up the same alley as relevance realization. So if that sounds interesting to you as well, that's something you might want to check out as well. So I think this should do it for episode 1 of Morning Coffee with Flight, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. So take care.